Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Tika and here we do everything Caribbean living, lifestyle and just good vibes. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, all those things.
Stressed for so long, so stuck in my own way. So I enjoy this moment. It's the day that the Lord has made.
So just a few things before we start this video. Number one, ignore my background. Like, I know it's messy. It's been messy for some weeks now. I'm actually going to do a vlog on a deep clean and a resetting probably next weekend, where I clean everything. I get rid of all my empty bottles, all my empty boxes, all those things. So I'm aware there's a mess behind me, but just ignore it. Second thing, this weekend I actually did not vlog. So this is probably the second or third time I'm actually picking up the camera to start a vlog. I've been going through some personal things, so I didn't have the time actually to vlog really this weekend because I was up and down handling those personal things. But of course, I must give you guys a video, so I decided to have a little chit chat. I know a chit chat is not what everyone is into. I did a chit chat. I think that was the video where I talked about 10 things you may not know about me. I'll link it below if you've never seen it. But that video didn't, blow up like, get over 100 views like some of my other videos. But yeah, this video is going to be a chit chat. And while I chit chat, I'm going to be pressing this hair. I know you're probably like, what's going on with her hair? I washed my hair and then I washed the wig. So now I just need to flat iron it. So while we chit chat, I'll be flat ironing my hair. So let's go. The first thing I want to talk about is being careful what you pray for. Now, this is something I used to hear all the time when I was growing up, like, be careful what you pray for, be careful what you ask God for. And I never really took it on until I experienced it for myself. So a while ago, I started feeling, like there were people in my life who weren't supposed to be in my life, right? And I wasn't taking it on at first, but then I started to get the feeling like even more. I was like, okay, these people, they keep doing weird things, saying weird things. Like, even some that weren't saying or doing weird things, I was just getting this feeling like there were people around me, who weren't supposed to be in my life. And eventually I was like, you know what, God, I prayed and I was like, if these, whoever it is, I don't, I didn't know who it was, or, I was like, God, whoever is not supposed to be in my life, I pray that you remove them. And I pray that you remove them, without any sort of drama and all those things. I said, like, if it has to have drama, okay, no problem. But I just pray that you remove them without any drama. You guys would not believe that since I said that prayer to now, there have been a good few people who are no longer in my life. Like, I don't know, I was surprised. So many times we think like certain people have our backs, and it's the same people that don't, and sometimes we feed information to these people, and these people are feeding information to the enemy or whoever our enemies are. Now listen, I am not saying that that's what any of these people were doing. I'm just saying that a lot of times we trust people because they've been around us long, or they've never done anything for us to see that's untrustworthy. But a lot of times these people are close to us and don't like us. That is so much more common than you think, right? So always be careful what you pray for, because God will show you exactly, and he will always give you exactly what you prayed for. It's just if you are ready to accept it. You need to be ready to accept it. Because you can't say, okay, God, take away, people who don't like me from around me, and then take away a husband or you take away a wife. And you're like, no, I didn't ask you to take away my husband or my wife. And it's like, but you asked God to take away who's not for you. You can't pick and choose. If that's what you prayed for, that's what you prayed for, right? That's just an example, right? I'm not saying if you pray for that, you're going to take away your husband or your wife. But you all catch my drift, right? And as I said, it's something I had to accept. And it wasn't easy at first. I was like, whoa, like all these people, like we just either stopped talking, or I heard something they said about me, or real random stuff just out of the blue. And I was like, okay, God, I hear you. As I was saying, it was hard at first, but in the long run, things just became a lot more peaceful, and I actually stopped getting the feeling I was saying, you guys, I was feeling. Like, I stopped getting that feeling, right? So be careful what you pray for, because most likely you will get it. So the next thing I want to talk about is something that I wouldn't say really bothers me, but I think about it often, right? Especially with what I've been through recently. I had I wouldn't say privilege, but I had the experience of being on the accident and emergency ward of a particular hospital here in Trinidad. I'm not gonna say which hospital. I'm not trying to bash any hospital. I know all hospitals have their challenges and all those things, right? But I had the privilege of being on one of those wards. Now, if you watched my 10 things you probably didn't know about me video, you would know that I studied biology in secondary school and for my first degree, right? My first degree is in biology. I wanted to become a doctor, either a medical doctor or a dentist or something in the medical field, right? And well, as I said, if you watched my 10 things you didn't know about me video, you'll know how everything played out. And when I was on that accident and emergency ward, I kid you not, in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't think I would have been able to work here. Now, being a doctor, yeah, a real top profession, people respect you and all those things. But when I actually saw what these doctors and what these nurses, because the nurses have a lot to do also, what they had to be doing. Let me give you guys an example. So this one is a bit graphic, and I don't know what's going on with that chicken. So there was an older man who was there, and you can visibly see he's in discomfort, he's in pain, like he can't do anything for himself, literally to the point where he was wearing a diaper because he couldn't get up to use the bathroom. He had to defecate on himself and everything. And these nurses had to be dealing with this man trying to take off this diaper, right? It's full of feces, and he's trying to take off this diaper, and he's screaming, and they had to restrain his wrist because he was trying to take off the diaper. They had to restrain his legs because he was kicking it off. Like, it was insane, guys. It was actually insane. And I was like, would I have been able to work here? I don't think so. I like my nice, pristine office. I walk into my little office, my cubicle, whatever. I sit down by my computer. When I'm ready, I get my coffee. That's what I'm made out for. So sometimes in hindsight, you realize that what you want is probably probably not what you should have been doing. So I say all that to say, I just wish the public healthcare system was better. Like, it needs to be better. I'm not into politics. I'm not into who did what and who didn't do what. Like, that's not what all of this is about. It's just like, I really wish the public healthcare system was better, because people are really suffering. Like, people are really, really suffering. The doctors and the nurses are doing the best they can. Like, I was there, save for one or two people. Most people were nice. They're busy, they run up and down, but if you stop and ask a question, they answer as best as they could. Like, they're doing the best with what they have, right? But something needs to be done. Something needs to be done, for sure. So the next thing I want to talk about, guys, right? And this actually came out from while I was in the accident and emergency section of the hospital. One of the nurses, she stopped me and she's like, oh, you work so and so, because I had on my worksheet. I was like, yeah, I do. And she was like, what are the qualifications to start working there? This and that and the other. So I say, well, you could start with your CXC passes. Once they're ones and twos, they're accepted. And she's like, oh gosh, no, that's too much. She was telling me her daughter had just done CXC, but she got 2s and 3s. And I told her, I said, well, no, and I think she didn't pass mathematics or something like that. And I told her, well, you know, there are options for her, even though she didn't do too well in CXC. I know she, you know, a lot of these degrees now, you can do like a filler year where you basically doing over the subjects you did for CXC or at Cape level or whatever, and then based on how you do that, you go on to your degree. So I was giving her all that advice and whatnot, and it had me thinking, like, getting a job getting a job out here is so hard, guys. And I know this personally, like, getting a job is so hard. I know persons, right? I personally know persons with master's degrees who are doing clerk jobs. And when I say clerk jobs, I mean literally typing on a computer. You understand what I'm saying? Not typing any big proposal or anything, like typing letters, and they have a whole master's degree. And it's not that they want to be there doing that, but at the end of the day, they have mouths to feed, they have bills, they have all these things. They need a job. And a lot of these companies know that people need jobs, so they're gonna exploit people. Like, I've seen some job descriptions on LinkedIn, like about 10 jobs in one. I kid you not, 10 jobs in one. They are asking for a bachelor's degree, and a master's degree would be an asset, you know, and then they want, on top of the master's degree, they want certification in, you know, PMI or SIPS or ACCA or whatever, just to pay you, I don't know, 8,000, 9,000. Some of them not even reaching 10,000. You understand? And in today's world, where the cost of living is going up every few months, I can't even say every few years anymore, every few months the cost of living is increasing. How you can watch me with all my education and try to give me a job for 10 people just to pay me the salary of less than one person? That's crazy. Now, I thank God I'm fortunate enough to have a good job, and, you know, I've been treated fairly. Let me knock on wood. I've been treated fairly for the majority of my career. You know, I started working when I was 22, 21, 22, somewhere around there. And now I'm in my 30s. So, you know, my career has been progressing slower than I wanted to, but it's been progressing. But guys, the job market out there is absolutely insane. So I pray any of you guys who are job hunting right now that, you know, you all get through it, what it is you want to get through it, and connect, guys. Don't be afraid to cold message, cold call. Like, I have cold messaged so many big companies on LinkedIn, and I actually got responses. There was one, what was his name? I think it was Oliver Sabga. He owns O Deliver, and O Finance. Is it O Finance? Something Finance, right? And I messaged him. This was during COVID lockdown time. I messaged him. I was like, hey, I'm interested in so and so and so. And he actually reached back out to me. And to this day, well, the last time I emailed him was probably last year. And he was like, yeah, I remember you. There's so and so position. And I was like, no, I'm not interested in that. Like, these people, they, you know, they're not higher than God. They will respond to you. Cold message, cold call. It works, guys. Another thing I want to talk about is being a Christian. Now, to all my Christian girlies and guys out there, hear me out. Being a Christian is one of the easiest but hardest things I have ever done in my entire life. And here's why. Following Christ is easy. The Bible is there. The Bible tells you exactly what you need to do, right? The Bible tells us exactly what it is we need to do. We know what commandments we need to follow. We know what we shouldn't do. You know, the Bible gives us everything. However, the hard part comes when you are trying to do these things, but you have to deal with humans. Right? You have to deal with humans. Now, a lot of people who know me personally would know that, you know, I grew up in church and all those things, but I really started my personal journey with God just probably a year before, and got really, really serious about it last year, right? And what I've realized with people, when they know you're on a Christian journey, or when they know you're trying to get closer to God, they judge you. They judge you 10 times more than how they used to judge you before. All of a sudden now, everything I do and say, if it's not aligning directly with something in the Bible, I'm a hypocrite. You know, if I curse, or if I get angry, or anything I do, I'm a hypocrite, right? So a lot of people expect you to be, 100% perfect as soon as you publicly say you are a Christian. Because before I publicized and started speaking about, my want and desire to become closer to God, no one was telling me anything. No one was demonizing me. I could have done whatever, no one would tell me anything. But as soon as I said, guys, I'm trying to get closer to God, oh, all hell broke loose. Everything I do, oh, Tika is a hypocrite. How she could do that? She going to church, but look at what she wearing, and the full weeks, right? The full weeks. And in speaking to some of my friends, speaking to my favorite cousin, big up yourself one time, speaking to all these people, I got to realize, okay, it's not just me. It's not just me. And most times when the enemy notices or realizes that you are extremely serious about your journey with Christ, that is when he attacks the most. So don't think because, you say you want to get closer to God, things going to be easy. That is when it's going to get harder. And it took me a while to realize that, because I was like, God, I tell you, I want to get closer to you. I read in my Bible every day. I'm going to church. I'm trying to, show certain things, act a certain way to be in line with you. And people attacking me left, right, and center. Where's that one? That's why I just talk to God. I'm just letting you all know God is my friend. He had to show me that, hey, because you're trying to become closer to me, people will demonize you, people will criticize you. It's all part of the journey of being a Christian and having that, relationship with God. So I just want to encourage anyone out there who is trying to get closer to God and you're feeling like everything is just against you, don't give up. When it is just start to feel the pressure, that's when you know you are a threat to the enemy, and that's how you know you are actually building a relationship with God. Because that pressure won't last forever. It's not going to last forever. It's just going to feel that way because the enemy is trying to break you for you to say, nah, I can't do this God thing. This is too much for me. That's what the enemy wants you to do. So definitely don't do that. Alright guys, so that brings me to the end of this vlog. I know it was very short because it was just a little chit chat, and I usually like to have these chit chats just to get things off of my mind that I've had on my mind for a while. I finished pressing out my hair. I know I was sweating because I took off the fan because the fan was pretty loud and you guys would not have been able to hear me properly, so I was sweating while flat ironing my hair. So I apologize if you guys were just seeing sweat run down my face and neck and everything. I'm sorry. But comment down below and let me know if you agree with anything that I said. Let me know how job hunting and how the job market is for you guys, because I want to know for me too. Let me know what your experiences have been based on your qualifications. Let me know how easy it was for you to get the current job that you're in, and if you're actually in the profession that you want to be in. And also let me know if you guys have any experiences with accident and emergency or any ward or any hospital in Trinidad, and if it was good or bad, and what suggestions you think you may have to make the healthcare system better. So as usual, thank you guys so much for watching. For those of you who are new here, I saw a few new subscribers. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. I hope you guys stick around for all my exciting upcoming vlogs. Just this weekend, sorry, I didn't get to vlog how I wanted to because, as I said, I have a lot of personal matters I'm handling currently, but I'll be back on it next weekend, God spare life. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.